Here is a quick genealogical history of a very interesting fact about the history of modern civilization and how it became the way that it is.
Legal codes in the early Middle Ages in Ireland specified the amount of seasoning that legally should be added to food.
One of the major drivers and incentives for European colonial expansion and imperialism and colonization of the world was the acquisition of spices, specifically for the purpose of food preservation, because foodborne illness was a huge problem. And so part of the reason that they were so motivated to, colonize and exterminate populations around the world was for food safety. If you put enough black pepper or salt, for example, in food, it's preserved better and you're less likely to have foodborne illness. So imagine taking that risk, that cost, that danger to your power as an empire of foodborne illness at home, and finding a way to shift that risk and danger and cost to people who you're colonizing, and using the importing of spices to do that is fundamentally how capitalism works today. When we think of other commodities that we're doing the same thing with, like gasoline, the true cost of a gallon of gasoline is $40 to $50 a gallon. It's just that people in the developing world, people in the global south, people in the equatorial regions are the ones paying that price, while we get to pay $4 or $5 a gallon in the United States. Other people get to pay the vast majority of the cost for the life that Americans lead. And that's fundamentally the purpose of capitalism, which comes from, this realization during the Middle Ages. So that's why there are rules on the minimum and the maximum of these spices that you can put in food, because it's not a normal good. It's not about the flavor. If it was about the flavor, then rich people could have as much as they want. Instead, it's about using these imports as a way to increase public health, to decrease the risk of revolution, uprisings, people being just generally unhappy enough to challenge the power which is wielding these tools. And that's exactly the same reason why we subsidize gas prices. The federal government pays a huge chunk of the cost of that gallon of gasoline for the exact same reason: to keep people in line, going to work, following the rules, keep people from challenging the power.